Chapter 7. How the Laws of Life Can Work for You. We live in a universe of law and order. There are definite laws that apply to every activity in life. They will work for us or against us depending on how we use them. We live in a mental world, and therefore it is very important that we understand certain mental laws. The laws of life are impersonal. They do not care how we use them. Fortunately for us, we have been given the power of choice. These wonderful laws are here for us to use. It is up to us how we use them. The first law we are going to consider is the law of identification. It simply means whatever you identify yourself with, you become. Talking poor-mouth, as they say down south, can make you poor. Talking opulence, on the other hand, can help you to be rich. Words, words, words. Millions of words are written and spoken every day. Some we think are important, and some are more important to us than we realize. I was talking one day to a man from the People's Republic of China who is in the United States to study the computer sciences. "How do you manage in China?" I asked him, "when you do not have words in your vocabulary covering the computer language or the field of electronics?" "Yes," he said, "we do not have a Chinese vocabulary that we can use, so we use English words. Not only are words important from a technical point of view, but they have a tremendous impact on our personal lives. For words are fraught with emotion. Words engender feelings that affect the mind, body, and experience of the person using them. Jesus understood this. He said, "By thy words shalt thou be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." It is very important that we understand which words will prosper us and which words will condemn us to poverty. There are prosperity words and there are poverty words. Let's try some prosperity words and see how they make us feel. How about opulent, affluent, enriching, plenteous, flourishing, and abundant? How about saying these words over a few times just to see how you feel? Now let's identify with these words in an affirmation and see what they will do for us. I am opulent in the abundance of life. Every moment of my life is an enriching experience. I see abundance everywhere. The seeds of prosperity planted in my mind are plenteous and flourishing. I am affluent. All that the Father has is mine. How about triumphant as a prosperity word? I am triumphant over negative and destructive thinking. One time I heard a woman referred to as a radiant soul. I looked forward to meeting her, and sure enough, when I met her, I saw what her admirers meant. She was a radiant soul. She was an enlightened person who really let her light shine. She prospered in everything that she did because life agreed with her, and she agreed with life. Let's look at a few more prosperity words. Exuberant means to be abundant, to be fruitful. Its synonyms are abundant, plenteous, effusive, lavish, overflowing, and profuse. To exuberate, the dictionary tells us to abound. Another great word is copious. It is another word for abundance. To abound in, and its synonyms are profuse, plentiful, abundant, ample, rich, full, overflowing. There is no end to these prosperous words. Proficient, expansive, enthusiastic, inspiring, powerful, commanding, dynamic, potent, capable, competent, profuse, luxuriant, prime, superb. All of these are constructive words. Words that will build your consciousness of prosperity. Say them aloud and identify yourself with each word by putting I am in front of it. Feel the power behind the word as you identify yourself with it. Remember, there is a law of life that whatever you identify yourself with, you become. This is a feeling thing that sinks deep into your subconscious mind. Feeling gives rise to action. If you don't believe me, try saying, "I feel wonderful," slowly and with feeling 3 times. Don't you feel better? You will find this is a good way to dispel the blues or rout depression. Of course, You must say it with feeling and believe it, paying no attention to conditions or circumstances. Now try saying, I am prosperous. Everything I do prospers. Say it over and over with the same feeling. Believe it. It will go to work for you. You will never be the same again. To really understand the negative use of the law of identification, we're going to have to take a look at some poverty words. You need not strike these words from your vocabulary, but make yourself a solemn vow, never to allow them to be identified with you. It is equally important not to use them in connection with another. You do an injustice to another when you identify that person with any of these words, and some of it is bound to rub off on you. Here are some poverty words to avoid: poor, sad, lacking, anxious, hopeless, indolent, deprived, dismal, scant, underprivileged, oppressed. Depressed, just a few. I could go on and make this list longer, but I dislike working with poverty words. I like prosperity words better. Some people seem to think that they are being compassionate when they associate poverty words with another. This is not true. It is a form of condemnation. Each person is a creative, expressive being who needs to be recognized as such. Everyone desires to feel important to life, to contribute something to life, and each is endowed with something to contribute. We all need love, which is expressed through respect and goodwill. Prosperity words help to express love and understanding. Whenever we think prosperity for another, we are also accepting prosperity for ourselves, and both will benefit. Whatever we bring into the lives of others comes back into our own. Was there ever a better time to think prosperity for ourselves and the world, that we may all prosper to the glory of God? The law of attraction. As fish dwell in the sea, so do we live and move and have our being in a sea of mind. If we can think of it as a plastic, fluidic substance which is always ready to respond to us, we would be better able to understand the law of attraction. We are like magnets which draw to us that which our thoughts embody. We draw into our experience that which we believe and accept for ourselves. We live in mind, wrote Ernest Holmes, and it can return to us only what we think into it. No matter what we do, law will always obtain. If we are thinking of ourselves as poor and needy, then mind has no choice but to return what we have thought into it. It is done unto you as you believe. Thoughts of failure, limitation, or poverty are negative and must be counted out of our lives for all time. God has given us a power, and we must use it. We can do more towards saving the world by proving this law than all that charity has ever given to it. Do you see now why it is so important to identify with opulent words? Why we dare not let fear of poverty dominate our thinking? Remember what happened to Job that caused him to say, "What I greatly feared has come to pass." Job had everything taken away from him and wound up sitting among the ashes, covered with boils from the soles of his feet to the top of his head, scratching himself with a piece of broken pottery. After that, I bet he watched his thoughts, lest what he greatly feared should come upon him again. Job had used the law of attraction in reverse, but we're going to see how we can use it affirmatively and constructively. Joy is an inside job, wrote Don Blanding, and used it for the title of one of his books. As Jesus prefaced so many of his great truths with the words, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee," which means, "Truly, truly, I tell you, truly, truly, I tell you," prosperity is an inside job. There is only one place to create it, and that is in consciousness. The outer will always follow, as effect always follows cause. Therefore, if we do not like our present circumstances, we should leave off struggling with them and start building a consciousness of true prosperity, a feeling of inner security which is eternal, unchanging wealth. This is the master key to prosperity. Ultimately, it will be to you like having the goose that lays the golden eggs or a money tree in the backyard. But you must seek spiritual security for its own sake, and prosperity will follow. So often people evaluate their prosperity according to prestige symbols, such as great possessions or high position. These are only the byproducts of consciousness. They are here today and gone tomorrow. That is why so many achieve great wealth, oftentimes only to lose it. Others recoup their losses and make one fortune after another. The only true and lasting prosperity is that which is founded solidly on the rock of truth. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "For he that hath, to him shall be given, and he that hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that which he hath." We might paraphrase this statement to make it still clearer. For he that has a consciousness of true wealth shall be given wealth, and he that has a consciousness of lack and poverty will lose even that which he had. It is not clear, then, that a person who has great possessions and starts worrying about how to hang on to them, how to keep from losing that which he has stored up in the outer, soon develops a consciousness of lack, and his outer affairs just as quickly mirror this change in consciousness. It is plain to see that whatever contributes to our outer awareness of wealth contributes to our outer expression of wealth. As Jesus said again, "Thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." Prosperity is not an impossible dream. It is not a castle in the sky, not a continual diet of thick steaks and rich desserts. Prosperity is an inward feeling that whatever we attempt is already being accomplished. Whatever we desire is being manifested. Whatever our goal, it is attained. Prosperity is a feeling that life is working with us, that we are working with life and enjoying it. The law of cause and effect. We live in a mental world. Do you believe this? That which appears is made out of the invisible substance of life. We mold this fluidic substance by our thoughts. No one limits our thoughts but ourselves. No one directs our thoughts but ourselves. Each person has the choice and can decide what kind of world he is going to live in, and the direction that his life shall take. Life is an individual experience. Therefore, what one selects for himself becomes his experience. We cannot make the experience of another because it is impossible to get into the consciousness of another. Brainwashing is a temporary thing and very unsatisfactory at best. So I ask you, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about your world? What do you think about others? Do you resent the success of others? If you do, you are condemning yourself to failure. Are you expanding your consciousness or contracting it? Do you believe in prosperity or are you a poverty worshiper? It is up to you to choose. What do you think of your world? Do you love it or do you hate it? Do you agree with it or do you resist it? Do you take it for granted or are you aware of it as the wonderful expression of life itself? What do you think of others? Do you judge other people and find yourself constantly comparing yourself to them? Are you willing to see others succeed? Are you able to get rid of that old devil, jealousy? Do you resent the success of others? If you do, you are condemning yourself for failure, for failure is where your attention is focused. Do you see that prosperity depends upon you and you alone? If you are not now prosperous, it will take a change of consciousness on your part. For every cause there is an effect, and for every effect there is a cause. The law of increase. If a person would sit still each morning for even 15 minutes and bless his business, invoking the law of increase in that business, he would find his business would really start to prosper. The law of increase will go to work and bring increase to that firm. That to which we give our attention is bound to increase. People will be attracted to what the business has to sell, no matter whether it is a service or a product, and all things will work together for good for that business. It is a matter of accepting our good right where we are, being optimists instead of pessimists, looking to the optimum good instead of to lack. This is investing in prosperity. If your business seems to be slack, try thinking about giving rather than getting. Invest in service and let the chips fall where they may. You cannot outgive God. Whatever you give into life will surely return to you. In our next chapter, we will see how different people have successfully applied the law of giving and receiving in their lives. Self-direction. There is no power in lack. There is no power in poverty. There is no power in adverse circumstances or conditions. There is only one power, the perfect power within. Through a recognition of this truth, I am transmuting all thoughts of lack into a realization of divine abundance in my life. All of the intelligence and power of God is expressing in and through me. My every need is met. I cease looking at lack, and my whole attention is directed to that which is real and perfect. I deny the lie of lack and affirm the truth of divine abundance. And so it is.